You're listening to PlayStation Power. I'm George, and Greg's not here. I guess we threw him in a dumpster. I don't know. Joe, what did we do with Greg again?
I've assumed the role of Greg. That's all that matters.
Good luck with that. I heard that he had a cracked windshield.
Yeah, I Irish whipped him into a barrel. He caught fire. I don't know what happened after that. We played catch for a bit.
Playing catch is not a good idea. Anyway, we are covering WCW Backstage Assault. Of course, Joe has to go and pick a shitty game.
It's kind of my thing on this podcast, right?
We talked about that on the Discord server. I don't know if you saw that, Joe, but
I did not, but I love it.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty good. Because we were talking about games, and somebody was like, "Oh, you should play this game." Not that I have a say, and I was like, "Well, everyone has a say." And then they come back with saying, "Except Joe," and I was like, "Oh God, yeah, he's on wrestling duty now." But yeah, here we are with another bad game. I know you did it on purpose this time, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to get you on for like a good wrestling game.
Or
which
not.
There's a bunch of, so
we could just keep my streak going with crappy games. The only good game that I've done with you guys is Lunar.
Right, and that wasn't your choice.
Right.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Look for that in the archives.
Anyway. Yeah. This is a long episode, I think.
Yeah, it was a very long episode. Anyways.
Jeez.
Backstage Assault.
WCW Backstage Assault. Jesus. So, this game was released on the PlayStation and the N64. Release dates for the PlayStation: North America saw it October 31st, 2000, and Europe saw it November 24th, 2000. Apparently, for N64, this was only released in North America December 12th, 2000.
Well, I mean,
that's funny.
4 months after this, they went bankrupt and WWF bought them. So this is This is the swan song for WCW and their contract with EA and just WCW in general.
Boy, what a shitty game to go out on.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that would have been worse. Oh, Backyard Wrestling, maybe.
No, Backyard Wrestling actually is like good in a way.
No. That's like this. It's so bad, it's good.
I wouldn't say Backyard Wrestling is bad in a way. Like, I could see why you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But I would say Backyard Wrestling is actually a solid game.
Okay. I'm sure you'll have a podcast about it soon.
Oh, no. What is that supposed to mean?
I mean, eventually you'll get there, right?
Yeah, right? Like, eventually we'll get to Bubsy 3D as well.
I will not be... Just so the audience knows, I will not be suggesting that game, nor will I be on that episode.
That's the episode where I start taking shots.
There's a fine line, and that's the line I'm not willing to cross.
Is it a fine line? I thought it was pretty blurry. But yeah, so developer for this game was Kodiak Interactive, which is not a developer I've heard of before.
Oh, you mean you haven't heard of the other games that they've done?
What games did they do?
I have no clue.
Okay, great. And this was published by Electronic Arts. Some people would call them Electronic Farts, which is me because I make terrible jokes.
You want to know what games they've done?
What?
According to GameSpot, none. So apparently this is the only one.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me. There's no way.
I just did a Google search.
I'm doing a Google search now.
And
I'm on Moby Games. They did Disney, Pixar, Monsters, Inc.
Oh, there we go.
Circus Maximus, Chariot Wars, WCW Backstage Assault, WCW Mayhem, and Stratosphere, Conquest of the Skies. If you'd like to get in contact with them, their phone number is... It's actually on the website here. Wait, is this... Okay, so there's a link to a website here, too. I wonder if this goes somewhere. Nope. This domain has recently been listed in the marketplace.
Nice.
Recently? Really? That's interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, they didn't do much, and most of their games were shitty, weren't they? Or maybe all of them, I don't know. Circus Maximus Chariot Wars, what is this?
I don't know, but it's going to cost me $500 to get this website.
Maybe you should buy it.
No, I'm all set.
Circus Maximus is a racing game that takes place in ancient Rome.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And as such, you'll be racing chariots around various tracks, including the famed Colosseum.
Please.
It's on PlayStation 2.
Yes.
So,
yes, I was just going to say, please tell me that's on PS2.
So maybe we'll have to come back to this.
I mean, they died.
Oh my god, did you see the ratings for this? GamePro gave it a 5 out of 5. Video Game Critic gave it a B+. MS Xbox World gave it an 8 out of 10. GameSpy, 76 out of 100.
Wow.
Team Xbox, 7.5 out of 10. JEUXvideo.com gave it a 15 out of 20. GamesMania.de gave it a 61 out of 100. Right, these scores are getting lower.
I was going to say, now I got to see what GameSpot said about it. GamePro rated it 100%. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
That just reminded me. I'm going to, while you're doing that.
Oh my god, this is a glowing review. That's a fucking glowing review for this.
Backstage Assault.
And you can't even see the rest of the review because it just redirects me to PC World for some reason. That doesn't make sense. Somebody broke the links. Anyway, this game. Yeah, let's can you mark that down for later? Maybe we'll cover that together. But yeah, WCW Backstage Assault. This is how terrible this game is that we are not fully compelled to actually speak about this game, and we get distracted easily. I'm sure you can tell by other episodes how much easier we're not distracted when we're talking about better games, but yeah, this game is terrible in a way that it's kind of fun to play anyway, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Playing it by myself, I kind of got burnt out easily compared to when I played it with you. Playing it with you, I think we did it. We played for over an hour, just straight.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we had some long matches.
There's that. Yeah. So this game is lackluster in a lot of different ways. There's not much you can do in this game, honestly. There's 3 different modes. There's Exhibition, where you go and just do your matches and have your fun and shit like that. And then there's oh fuck, what is it called? It's basically kind of like a story mode or whatever, but it's Hardcore Challenge or something like that. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Something like that. I forget now. But what that is like I said, is kind of like story mode or whatever. You select a wrestler and that's how you unlock your stuff. That's how you unlock other wrestlers. That's how you unlock different areas. That's how you unlock new moves and new pieces of clothing or whatever you can use for your creative character. And then there's an endurance mode, and you see how many wrestlers you can fight,
Yeah, they were trying to copy Slobber Knocker mode in Smackdown.
Basically, yeah. But, yeah, it's... Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I see what you were talking about. You were talking about that it said that there was a PS2 port under development.
Yeah.
On this Wikipedia article,
crazy.
But yeah.
That's insane to even think about.
Right, because, so, if you look at this, EGM rated it 4 out of 10, Game Informer, N64 got 3.5 out of 10, PlayStation version got 3 out of 10, which, in the Game Informer, you're crazy. They should both be the same rating, but whatever. GamePro actually gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. I don't know what they're smoking. GameSpot.
Actually, speaking of GamePro, I actually have the original review for this game up from GamePro.
okay, I need to hear this.
All right.
Go ahead.
So this was published November 30th, 2000. Backstage Assault features over 50 WCW superstars, including Goldberg, Mona, Sting, and Jeff Jarrett, sporting their signature moves. You can also construct your own wrestler in the Create a Superstar mode. Gamers will pick fights in 7 backstage areas: truck arena, media center, bathrooms, locker rooms, loading bay, the block, and parking garage that are filled with weapons galore. In the Career Hardcore Challenge mode, gamers will unlock a new background area with each victory until they have gotten all 7 arenas. Initially, you'll thrill with every crate, mirror, or iron pipe that smashes over your opponent's head. But after you unlock all the areas, the action will get very repetitive. Action will start to feel repetitive. You can enjoy someone getting smashed with a urinal only so many times, which is false. The controls the controls are simple to use. I'd argue that. Kick, punch, grab to do a move, or pick up a weapon. The graphics do a great job of rendering the superstars. That's a lie, though they could use more detail. The bright spot is the commentary of Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Mean Gene Okerlund, whose slight remarks really flow with the action. If you're a WCW fan, Backstage Assault is a good addition to your collection. Others should just rent it for a weekend.
I didn't hear Mean Gene anywhere in that game.
So, ready? So this is how they rate their 3.5 out of 5. Graphics, pretty standard fare for the PlayStation.
No.
I'd argue that, yes. Sound. Great sound effects, and the commentary is pretty nice too. Unfortunately, I was not privy to the sound, so I can't comment.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the sound when we were playing. Well, I heard it.
This, I would argue. Control. Solid controls with some quirks that prevent greatness.
What the fuck?
And then fun factor, great fun for a while, but gets repetitive pretty quick. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's actually kind of true.
I'm sorry, GamePro. I respect your 3.5, but you were obviously paid by EA to write this. Just saying.
No, if they were paid by EA, it would be at least a 4.
I guess you got a good point there.
Yeah.
It's wow. So go on with the other ratings that you found.
GameSpot gave both versions a 5.1 out of 10.
Okay.
GameZone gave both versions a 9 out of 10. And also, they must have been drunk and doing meth at the same time. IGN gave the N64 version 4 out of 10. And the PlayStation version 2 out of 10.
Wow.
Which, again, what are you fucking smoking?
Yeah.
Nintendo Power gave it a 6.2 out of 10. And don't ask, that was for the N64 version, of course.
Of course.
Joe.
And it's their magazine, which is why it's in there at that rating. Because they want to sell they want to sell their games for the system.
OPM gave it a 2 out of 5. And PSM gave it a 6 out of 10. The Metacritic score for N64 version is 48 out of 100, and for the PlayStation is 40 out of 100.
Did you see the review that says 0?
No, where is that?
It's all the way at the bottom. It's by GamesRadar. Unfortunately, the original site isn't theirs, but I'll read what this says. It says, 0 rating from GamesRadar. In an attempt to make its mark by trying to be something a bit different, WCW Backstage Assault has instead ended up being the lamest thing since Long John Silver. I really wish I could read the full review.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could read the full review, too.
I mean, that's a very dated reference. Is Long John Silver even a thing anymore? I don't even know, but, like...
I don't know.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Yeah, so even the Create a Superstar is kind of shitty because you can only... I think you can only overlap, like, actual wrestlers, which is stupid.
Yeah, yeah. You would think, with the memory cards and whatnot, I understand it would take up quite a few blocks like it did with like SmackDown and SmackDown 2 at the time, but
well, the original SmackDown's fucking Create a Wrestler wasn't much better because it was just taking parts from other wrestlers and just
right
mishmashing them together. So but at least you save them separately, And then of course SmackDown 2 had the whole that's when wrestling games really started going down on the whole Create a Wrestler thing.
Right.
Because SmackDown 2 was like really the start of it, and then the rest of the SmackDown series, and then when it got to SmackDown versus Raw, that's when it started really bursting at the seams until SmackDown versus Raw games, and then all the way up until the wrestling games that we know now.
Yeah.
Where the fucking customization is just amazing. But let's talk about Backstage Assault. What's wrong with it, Joe? What's wrong with this game?
For me, I really felt like the controls were really wonky. I felt it like when we were playing, and it, I just want to let everyone know we were emulating it. But I really felt like the controls were like there was a lag to them, and it wasn't just like the lag from the computer. It was a legit, like, I pushed the button and it would take a while, like 3 or 4 seconds for it to recognize that I hit the square button to pick up a weapon. You know what I mean?
That might just be our solution to playing multiplayer.
Yeah. Kind of like playing GoldenEye 4 players and how it slows down. Something like that.
More like you were connecting through the internet to play with me, so...
Very true.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, we should have probably tried the lower latency options, but whatever.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah, there's some stuff that kind of didn't feel right though.
Yeah, like I said,
like trying like reversals or whatever, like that just felt off.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like in this era, anyways, for any wrestling game, like the reversals were really just random as hell. Like, even with SmackDown, like when you'd hit the reversal button, like sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't.
I feel like you'd be able to do a reversal much easier in one of the SmackDown games compared to this game, honestly.
I didn't say it wouldn't be easier. I just said it still felt random. That's all.
Yeah. That's true. It's just... And I think the biggest problem of this game is they were trying to be, like, edgy or something or whatever. They were trying to really cash in on, like, hardcore or whatever, because there's no referees... which doesn't make sense because you can still pin people.
Right.
What are they doing? They're counting themselves?
Well, prime example, there is nothing traditional about this game at all. There are no...
And there's nothing wrong with a wrestling game, like, bending the rules or changing the rules, but, like, doing this just didn't make much sense.
Right, it's completely hardcore. There is no ring. At no point are you in a ring.
Right.
It's all backstage. And like you said,
weapons everywhere.
Like it's cashing in on the popularity of ECW at the time.
Right. But it just, the environments, they're all basically kind of generic.
Yeah, it's very bland. Very bland.
Yeah. You can pick things up off of the walls. You can, you can rip sinks out of the wall. You can rip urinals out of the wall. You can smash people over the head with the mirrors and everything. That's cool.
Right.
But, like, it just... Oh, this is a bathroom. You can smash people with sinks. But there's no, like, environmental... like, you can't play around with the environment that much. Like, you might be in a weight room and you're pushing around the bench and you might be able to throw your opponent into the bench, but it hurts them. They don't go onto the bench. Yeah. You don't pick up the bench. You don't... there was potential in things like that. There's a forklift. You can't use the forklift,
This is one of those...
There's a bunch of potential.
Yeah, this is one of those great idea poor execution?
I don't know if it was like that great of an idea. I mean, like doing a game centered around backstage stuff, maybe not. But if there was like a big like if it was a Smackdown 2 where they're like doing the backstage stuff is a thing and it's actually done pretty well.
Yeah.
Like sure, but centering it around backstage stuff doesn't really make that much sense because, you know, like I said, there's no referees, there's basically no rules.
Right.
And, you know, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't want a game that just has that, you know? I still want to do the in-ring stuff, you know? The only thing that would have it make sense or be a good idea or whatever is like I said, if there was more to do. It just kind of feels like, it feels like the WCW games on N64, but there's more weapons and the controls don't make that much sense, and
yeah,
you know, it just, and there's like no DQs,
right?
You know, it just, I just don't know. It just,
But you can set a guy on fire.
Yeah, well, we did that, and I didn't see the fire, so.
You also hit me with a TV, and I started flashing like Willy Wonka.
Okay, yeah, that was like one of the only good things is when I threw a TV at Joe, and then his body started changing colors and freaking out, like he was on an acid trip or something. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool, and then it was just like, yeah, this game's bad.
Yeah.
Cause it's so weird. Let's see, I forget when it came out, but like Smackdown 2, you know, let's see, I'm looking it up now.
I was gonna say that's what I was.
Smackdown 2 came out on the 21st of November in 2000.
Yeah, so
it came out right around this time.
Yeah, so it's just after this release.
Just after, which means that they were working on both these
games at the same time.
Yeah, it's a different developer,
right.
But these two games were being worked on at the same time, and look how much different Smackdown 2 is. Smackdown 2, you can still do the backstage stuff. Not only is there more stuff in the backstage areas, on top of having just wrestling in the ring in general.
Yeah.
You can use the forklift. You know, you can go to a VIP area and pick up fucking couches and smack each other with them. There's casket matches.
Yeah.
There's this, there's that. There's so much. It's not a problem with the limitation of the console.
Right.
It's not a problem with like, oh, we didn't think of that. Obviously, it's not, because look at this game.
Right.
Look at Smackdown 2 compared to Backstage Assault.
Yeah.
Backstage Assault is, I don't know whether it, I don't know which one it is. It's probably because they had a tight budget, but either they had a tight budget or they just fucking didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And if they didn't know what to do, they shouldn't have been developing that game in the first place.
Well,
honestly.
The thing is like they released Mayhem before this. Mayhem was a decent game. It wasn't perfect, but it was playable and it was fun. This is like, I really don't know, like.
Right, because
you know what
it's
I mean?
like, I think even the graphics are worse than Mayhem, and Mayhem came out before.
It's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And that's what they tried to do.
Right.
They tried to fix something that wasn't broke. It made it worse.
Right. I do actually want to play Mayhem. I have seen it before. I've seen some gameplay, but I have not played it yet. It would be really cool to check that game out. But it just, I'm looking this over now, and it seems like this game, Mayhem, has much more than Backstage Assault in what you could do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mayhem was a much better game. Backstage Assault was considered a stripped down version of Mayhem.
Right.
Like, ouch.
Yeah, ouch indeed. So, what's the only big credit I'd really give Backstage Assault is the commentary. The commentary is actually not too bad. It really picks up on the things you're doing, because they, you know, if you pick up a certain weapon, you know, sometimes they'll say like, oh, he picked up the baseball bat or whatever, or this or that or whatever, and they have a decent amount of lines, but and you know, this is coming from the era where commentary was like, putting commentary in games was pretty new,
right?
Because Smackdown and I'm trying to think if they had, and I think Smackdown 2 had commentary in season mode where, like, cutscenes would play out and, like, JR or King would say, like, one sentence.
Yeah, I was going to say,
happened.
It wasn't anything during the matches or anything. They still had that music.
Right, whereas Backstage Assault had full commentary, basically.
Yeah.
You know, they were talking about stuff. It was still early on, but I actually, like, it's pretty good for a PlayStation era game, to be honest.
Yeah.
The only, like, okay, I'm looking at WCW Mayhem, and I'm watching a match between Goldberg and Kurt Hennig. They look like fucking midgets. It's not just me, right?
I mean,
they look like midgets.
I'm not seeing the video, so I don't know.
I know. Here, if you want a video, here. It looks weird. I'm sorry. I'm talking while watching this, and I'm fucking freaked out by it. They look like midgets. They really do.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the sets, but this is better than what we got in Backstage Assault, which was just a video. Their entrance video plays. You don't see the wrestlers coming down to the ring.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That was the thing too. The entrances, which, why even have entrances if you're fighting in the backstage anyway?
Well, because just
is my question. You know,
if they just had two wrestlers show up and it said fight, then people would be like, "Oh, it's a Mortal Kombat ripoff."
I would disagree with that, because I mean, people will fucking argue anything. People will argue that Grand Theft Auto is a ripoff of, I don't know, fucking Super Mario Brothers or something, because you can jump.
Yeah.
And you can jump on top of people. But, like, it just... It just makes no sense to put entrances in a backstage game, like a backstage specific game.
Right.
But yeah, like, it didn't even do the Smackdown thing where the guys will walk in front of their Titantron video.
Right.
Like, nope, just play the video.
Just play the video.
Like, why even bother if you're not even going to attempt something, you know?
It's full motion video.
Yeah, but like, also there were games before this where, you know, just even Mayhem, they fucking they had entrances where they walked out.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, if you didn't tell anybody, right, and you asked them which game came out first, like, honestly, you could say Backstage Assault,
right?
Because it feels almost like a prototype in a way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it does everything worse. I just really don't know what to say about this game. There's hardly anything to say about this game, because there's not much to it, honestly.
Yeah, there really isn't, and I really wish that there was more, and that at least the game was decent enough to be able to elaborate on things, but it's just, it's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. It's fun to fuck around with. Like, we were just like, you know what? Let's just keep throwing things at each other.
Right.
And we did that for a while, and that was funny. And then we tried doing the fucking, what was it, the Human Torch?
Yeah.
Thing or whatever.
Trying to set each other on fire.
Yeah, and I don't know, I guess an emulator problem or whatever happened where
flames.
We couldn't see the fire. And we were like sitting there for like 5 minutes or whatever trying to figure out how to set each other on fire, and we did it by accident.
You know, one thing I will give this game credit, although you have to go through and unlock everything, 50 wrestlers at this time was a pretty big roster.
That is a big roster.
So, I mean, I do give them credit for that.
What is the size of the roster of the newest WWE game? Do you know?
Ooh,
I know it's massive. It is massive. I know that. Let's see. I think I just found a list.
There we go.
Does it have a number? Oh my god.
Wrestlers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the number I'm seeing. 100. Here we go. 174 unique playable characters. That's on the disc.
Right. I see that.
If you include
203 playable characters on disc, including alternate versions of Superstars.
Yes.
184 unique playable characters, including DLC.
Yep.
213 playable characters, including DLC and alternate versions of Superstars. 220 total characters, including managers. 32 playable women, including DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know they had a John Cena retro. Well, shit.
You had to buy the John Cena Collector's Edition.
You had to buy the deluxe edition, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get them other ways now, too, though.
Yeah, I'm sure now that it's been out for a while.
I'm sorry. They have John Cena from 06 and from 2010. How is that different from John Cena now? 2010 John Cena.
10 was the cusp. That's where he switched.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Alright, fine. Whatever. You're right. No, you certainly are right.
It's all good.
Oh my god. But yeah, this game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it for a minute more, and then we can talk about something else, I guess.
I just wish it could have been better. And you know what?
I wish it could have been better too. Like I said, this is something that Smackdown 2 did, and also included wrestling. Smackdown 2 did this so much better too. It's really funny because the whole thing in this game, the main focus of this game is fighting backstage.
Right.
You can do that in Smackdown 2.
Yeah.
And you can have so much more fun with it. You can, like I said, you can fucking smack each other with couches. You can find secret areas. You know, there's just so many areas, and then it's just really funny how a game that really tries to focus on backstage stuff has less content than a game that came out right around the same time that did more with it and also had the normal matches in ring and whatnot.
All right.
You know? That's something we should go and play. I did a 2-player season mode.
Nice.
With I covered Smackdown 2 with Andy from Super Podcast Brothers.
Oh, nice.
And we played a bunch of Smackdown 2.
Excellent.
And we did 2-player story mode or season mode for a little bit, up until we unlocked Stone Cold, and then our time ran out, which is a shame. But I'd like to go back to that at some point, because it's fun.
So the cover art for this game is kind of disappointing. Like, it builds up an anticipation for this game. You got Goldberg smashing who looks to be what's his name, Kurt Hennig, through a wall.
That looks about right.
With the big Backstage Assault logo.
Well, you know what's really funny about this picture?
Yeah, this game would have been awesome if you could smash people through walls.
Oh, dude, you could do that in Smackdown too.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can. Dude, like, seriously, this image looks like something they took from, like, an actual match that they had.
Oh, yeah.
And they just photoshopped everything.
Oh, and it
doesn't look like they actually tried to make it look good.
Yeah, and it's so 90s. Like,
oh, totally.
The only thing missing is, like, that yellow that they use needs to be a lot brighter, and it needs to be, like, neon glow in the dark. And that'd be...
Oh, God. Glow... Oh, my... If it glowed in the dark, oh, my God. That's something that they should have done. They should have just made a promotional thing.
Right.
Like the first 1,000 copies have glow-in-the-dark manuals or whatever. Yeah, it's a real shame. It's bad when you have a game, this kind of game, and to get fun out of it, you gotta, you have to find the fun in unintentional play styles,
like playing catch and baseball.
Right. Oh my god, yeah, playing baseball. I fucking threw that that punching bag at you and you smacked it with the fucking pole or whatever. I was like, oh shit, we should try this, and then the latency kind of killed the game. Yeah. But it was really good timing on your part that smacked it. I was like, oh shit. But yeah, I there are some up points. We already talked about the commentary. Something else that's actually kind of good in a way is like there's some kind of physics to the weapons, which is cool. Like if you like DDT somebody, or actually I haven't even seen a DDT in that game. If you like body slam somebody or something and they're like close enough, or they're gonna be like on the object, like they'll actually hit the object and the object will have like actual physics, so like it'll bounce around and shit, but also you'll actually like hurt the person.
Yeah,
like that's like the one good thing. But like those physics are also like wonky because just sometimes weapons just fucking go flying everywhere, which is just unintentionally funny. It's so stupid, but it's pretty good. Like I wish, like even the wrestling games like today are still kind of wonky about like objects and stuff. Like I don't even think 2K18 takes into consideration that like you're gonna be doing like a pile driver on top of a weapon,
right?
You know, like you have that stuff like doing stuff on top of tables, and now you have the stuff like doing stuff on top of ladders, but they have to be set up
right,
like properly. Whereas like this game, it kind of just does it, you know, and you can throw things at people and it'll hit them while they're laying down or whatever and stuff like that. But you know, and I'm just thinking about it now. Like, there's so many limited, like, there's a limited amount of game modes, but they could have done more stuff, you know? They could have done, especially they could have done fucking scaffold matches outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They could have done that. Yeah, they could have done, like a weird version of ladder matches.
Yep. That's one thing. We didn't see one single ladder in our entire playthrough.
Yeah. No, we haven't seen a ladder. I don't remember seeing a ladder at all.
Which is just...
I saw TVs and audio equipment or whatever. You said it's a fucking HP computer. It's like a fucking like rack-mounted audio equipment or something. There's a bunch of stuff, but a lot of stuff that wasn't practical. Like, what is a TV doing inside of a crate in
just
in
randomly,
like the backstage of like a wrestling event, right. You know? Yeah. Like if there was like an area where there's like TVs, it's like you're like around catering or whatever, and you're supposed to be watching like the matches going on like inside the arena. Yeah. Like sure. But no, like there's fucking you ram yourself into a crate. Not only do you just randomly find the TV on the floor, it's inside a fucking crate that you have to ram in yourself into to find it and then beat people up with it. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's not that great of a game. It's just, will I go back to it? Probably not, you know?
Yeah.
I think once we're done with this podcast, I think I might just be done with that. But, you know, like, Smackdown 2 is something that I still go back to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, shit like that, so...
And I mean, WCW NWO Revenge for the 64 is a prime example of a good WCW game that you can go back to.
I think I have 2 copies of that game somehow.
So do I. They've made so many copies of that game, it's ridiculous.
That is so weird.
But Yeah, like that's the one game that like WCW made that I can honestly say you can go back to today and still play and enjoy.
Okay, so the only reason why I would go back to Backstage Assault is if I'm with friends and we're fucking drinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the only time you go back to that.
And you want to play catch or
but
baseball.
Then again, what's that?
I said, and you want to play catch or baseball.
right. But then again, I bet you SmackDown 2 is a better game. It doesn't matter if you're drunk or sober.
Right.
I think it's just a better game to play with friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that the sense of like damage and whatnot in SmackDown 2 is worse.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's easier to get knockouts, at least,
yeah.
I guess, in that game. I don't know. Honestly, if it's a game that you're interested in playing, I don't say don't play it, but you're probably going to get bored of it within about an hour or less.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would never tell anyone not to try a game. Every game should be at least tried, because everyone's taste
It depends
is
on what game it is. There are some games that I've definitely said don't try it, because it's not worth it. But if you want to have that mindset, then there's nothing wrong with that. There are just some games that are not worth your time, honestly. If you give this game 10 minutes, you'll quickly be able to figure out if you want to spend more time with it or not, and you're probably not going to decide to spend any more time with it. Let's be honest.
So, while we're being honest, this game is totally worse than Toe Ball number 1, right?
At least Toe Ball number 1 is... I don't know. That's actually a good question.
That's a tough
Toe Ball
one.
number 1 has terrible controls in the exploration mode or whatever. Those controls are bad. But at least it works as a fighting game.
Yeah.
Like, the fighting game stuff works, and it's... I don't know, it's hard to compare, because, like, that's an older game, too.
True. I only brought it up because,
I don't know.
On the podcast, you had mentioned that you would not recommend that, so...
That's probably true. I don't even remember. That was so long ago. Seriously. It just... Okay, so here, we'll talk about this. I've seen this sold between $4.99 and $29.95. I think that if you're spending between the $5 to $10, it's worth collecting. But it's not worth buying to play.
And I'm going to say what I said off mic before we started. They only sold 200,000 copies of this game. If you are a completionist and looking to get a full set of PS1 games, this is one of those games that is probably going to be hard to come by down the road. So pick it up now while you can for $5, because down the line, it might be one of those that, not saying it's going to shoot up to like a couple $100, but it might be one of those games that you're paying 30, 40, maybe even $50 loose. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to do that, so maybe I will buy it just to have it.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I might find it in the thrift store eventually, because I actually did buy a PlayStation game recently for like $2 at a thrift store. So, yeah, Tigger's something challenge or something.
Yeah.
It's a Winnie the Pooh game, but you know what?
I have the Game Boy version of that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, really? Why is that?
It's just very generic, and it's very kiddish, and it holds your hand to the point where it's annoying.
I was being sarcastic.
Gotcha.
I could totally, I would totally believe that's not a good game.
And I'm sure it's going to be worse for the PlayStation, because they're going to have some creepy, like, FMV 3D sprite models that just...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So it seems like even to this day, at least like full-scale games, not like mobile games, like, it seems like people still don't know how to make kids games. Which is like, you know, like, you have to give kids more credit, because just holding their hand to do everything in the game is not a good idea.
You know who gets it right?
I believe... Who?
The Lego games.
Yeah.
They get it right.
Yeah, well, I don't even know who that's for, because, like, anybody can play those games. They're not just kids' games. Like, anybody can play it.
Yeah, but it's obvious who it's marketed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. But, yeah, like, there's that, but, I think there's, like, a few places out there where, like, parents review kids' games or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, other parents can find something for their child or whatever, but, it's just, like, there's just so much out there that's, like, again, like, you know, kids don't have fully developed brains, but that doesn't mean that they're fucking brainless, you know?
Right, exactly.
It doesn't mean that they need their handheld for every single little thing. You know, honestly, a kid's game should have exploration. You know, it should have something that really, gives them a sense of achievement for, you know, trying to figure things out on their own and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like WCW Backstage Assault. I'm sorry, I had to. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this game is not that great. Can't give you any final thoughts, because I think this whole podcast has been final thoughts, to be honest. It's just, I'm surprised we went on for how long we did. Do you have anything else to say about this game?
No, not at all.
Okay, yeah, that says a lot, actually. Yeah. Like I said, we'll bring you on for, like, a Smackdown versus Raw or something. We'll definitely have a fun time with that. Yeah. Alright, well, I guess this is the end of the episode. This is weird. This is awkward. It's like, you know, you're like catching me with my pants down still. But, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on, Joe.
Hey, no problem.
And thanks to the people who are backing us on Patreon. If you'd like to back us on Patreon, you can do so patreon.com/THEBOXFORT. That is patreon.com/theboxfort. And I just want to quickly thank everybody who is backing us. That would be David, Michael, Jala, and Laurie. So thank you everyone there. And I want to... Joe, I don't know if you noticed this, but we got some new podcast art.
Oh, did we?
Well, I don't know about you, but this podcast did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks to Discord user New Yokohama. Actually, if you scroll back in the history of the PlayStation Power channel, you'll actually see, like, the rough drafts of everything and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty cool, yeah. And if you're interested in joining us on Discord to talk, we will have the link or the code, whatever, in the description. So join us there.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook group. Just look up PlayStation Power, and you'll, well, you should find it. I find it when I look up PlayStation Power. I don't know about you. But hey, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Chief. That's at MISTURCHEEF. Or you could take that same name, same spelling, and go to YouTube and find my videos there if you're so inclined. PlayStation Power also has a YouTube where we upload the podcast episodes with gameplay in the background. It's just PlayStation Power. If you'd like to email us, you can do so by emailing PlayStationPower@theboxfort.net. That is PlayStationPower@THEBOXFORT.net. And Joe, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JOESUX30. And yeah, I also do a cool podcast called the Radical Retro Roundup. And that
you need to do more often.
Yeah, that I need to do at least once a month.
Right.
And you can find that at www.facebook.com/groups/Radical Retro Roundup. And any place where you get find podcasts like this one, you can get mine. So go give it a look. You know, I got a great episode up right now exploring 90s theme songs. And it's not much of me talking, which is a plus. And it's a lot of good music.
That's the best podcast where Joe doesn't talk, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, with that, goodbye.
Bye.